What's good? Brian Tong here, and welcome to the Apple Byte for all the good and bad inside the world of Apple. And hold on one second before I start, just want to make sure you guys can all read this very clearly. All right, oh, how quickly things can change, but according to the latest New York Times report, Apple will postpone the launch of the new version of the Apple TV and won't show off the device at WWDC 2015. Oh, yeah, I know how you feel. Apple was still on board to launch the device for WWDC even up to as close as mid-May, but it changed course over the last couple of weeks because the hardware just wasn't ready. Now, this is a full kick in the stomach for someone like me who was anxious to see what the Cooptown kids were up to, especially after the recent news that Apple's long-rumored streaming TV service was going to be a no-show because the proper deals still aren't in place, and Apple is also pursuing streams of local TV stations to get on board as well. Now, the hope was we could have at least seen some of the new things the Apple TV can do. A recent support document even confirmed the Apple TV will be able to control HomeKit-enabled accessories when you're away from your home using an iOS device. But now, we're expecting to see none of that. All right, new iMacs and MacBook Pros were recently upgraded, so that pretty much leaves us with a software-heavy keynote with iOS 9 and OS 10, 10.11, with their subtle improvements we talked about last week, new Apple Watch developments, and Apple's new music service. The Mac Mini, even if it gets a speed bump, won't do anything for the crowd. Really, WWDC looks to be good. I think it'll be okay, but it most definitely will not be great. Now, Intel just announced its next-generation quad-core Broadwell processors that would be a perfect fit for the MacBook Pro 15-inch lineup. The timing of all this would make them available for notebooks and desktops in the July-August timeframe. But with Apple just refreshing their entire line, it looks like they didn't want to wait. So Apple might just skip this generation and target Intel's fine-tuned Skylake chipset that's expected to be available late this year. Also, the Wall Street Journal confirmed the one thing we will see is Apple's Beats-based music streaming service on June the 8th. There will be no free listening plan like Spotify, but an unlimited on-demand streaming plan for $10 a month. The free music will come through their iTunes radio service, and then the service will be gaining new channels created and hosted by DJs like Zane Lowe from BBC Radio. And a New York Post report says Apple is also in talks to sign on Drake, Pharrell Williams, and David Guetta as guest DJs as well. Apple hasn't closed all the deals with the music labels just yet, but we still expect to see it debut at the keynote. All right, a lot of you still keep complaining when we don't throw a bad apple in the show, and guess what? We don't do one every week, unless we really have to, and many times the issue just gets resolved. But just to make you, the Apple Biters, happy, we'll play catch-up. So first up, the recent iCloud outage this week. Yeah, that gets a bad apple. Then that message bug that can be texted to your phone and shuts down it, that gets a bad apple. Oh, also Apple Beats Pill XL speaker, it's getting a recall due to a possible fire hazard. So that means up to this point, the Beats music acquisition has earned Apple -$. Bad apple. And then the rumblings that Apple is preventing the Pebble Time Watch app from being approved, and they're holding it off because their Apple Watch. It's a bit of a stretch, but sure, if it's true, bad apple. So there, hopefully some of you are all happy now. And in the story of the week, this one comes to us from the San Jose Mercury. The Clean Bay area recycling firm is looking for a woman who dropped off boxes of electronics that she had cleaned out of her house after her husband died. Now, the surprise drop-off included a vintage Apple I computer, one of about only 200 first-gen desktop computers that Steve Jobs and the Woz put together. Now, the recycling center sold it to a private collection for $200,000, and their policy is to split the proceeds 50-50 with the donor. They haven't found her yet, but they're still looking. And if I'm guessing, they're probably not looking too hard. All right, feedback of the week goes to Emmanuel John Lazaro, who said, "Please eat with manners." And yes, you saw this shirt. The NBA Finals start tonight. My call, Warriors in 6. But for the sake of competition and fun, even though Cleveland has no chance at all, if the Cavs somehow manage to best one of the top 4 greatest teams ever statistically in the history of the league, let's see, with only the 95-96 Bulls, the 96-97 Bulls better than them at this moment, and the 85-86 Celtics just trailing them, I will wear a Cleveland Cavs jersey during the entire Apple Byte show as the loser and claim my dying adoration for the team that LBJ built. And trust me, I'm a man of my word. All right, that's going to do it for this week's show. You can email me at theapplebite@cnet.com or tweet me at Brian Tong. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you all next time for another Bite of the Apple. Woo! Steph Curry with the shot, boy.